You are not tired. You are not unmotivated. You are in a state of rebellion. There is a specific heaviness that settles in the chest of the ambitious. It is not the lethargy of the sloth who wants for nothing. It is a vibrating, paralyzed tension. You have a vision of the future so clear you can touch it. You have the capability, the intellect, and the tools to build an empire. Yet, you find yourself staring at a glowing screen for hours, unable to move, unable to execute. Society calls this laziness. The self-help gurus call it procrastination. They try to sell you planners, timers, and caffeine to fix a broken engine, but your engine isn't broken. The diagnostics are wrong. What if I told you that this paralysis is not a defect, but a defense mechanism, a sophisticated biological firewall activated by your subconscious mind? You are not freezing because you are weak. You are freezing because, at a primal level, you have realized that the game you are playing is rigged. To understand this, we must strip away the modern veneer of productivity culture. We must look at the architecture of the human mind through the lens of dark psychology. For thousands of years, energy expenditure was a calculation of survival. You spent energy to hunt, to build, to protect. The reward was immediate survival. Today, the connection between effort and reward has been severed. We live in an abstraction. You work for numbers on a screen. You strive for status in a hierarchy that shifts like sand. The ambitious mind is a hunter's mind. It seeks high-value targets, but the modern world feeds it low-value noise. When a high-performance machine is forced to drive at 5 miles per hour in bumper-to-bumper traffic, the engine overheats, it stalls. That is what is happening to you. Your laziness is your soul overheating. Consider the concept of learned helplessness, but apply it to the elite. You have been conditioned to believe that your worth is tied to your output. This is the first chain. The systemic control grid relies on your anxiety. If you are content, you are dangerous to the economy. If you are satisfied, you do not consume. So the system installs a virus. It is a virus of infinite expectation. No matter what you achieve, the goalpost moves. The ambitious person sees the mountain, climbs it, and finds only another mountain. After enough cycles of this Sisyphean torture, the subconscious mind pulls the emergency brake. It says, "No more." This is the state you are in now. It is a silent strike. Your conscious mind wants to work. It screams at you to move, but your shadow self, the part of you that governs your deepest instincts, has gone on strike. It refuses to burn fuel for a system that yields no spiritual return. Ask yourself this and answer honestly in the dark of your own mind. Are you actually tired, or are you just bored of the simulation? Think about the last time you felt truly alive. Was it when you were filling out a spreadsheet? Or was it when you were in danger, when you were in love, when you were creating something that defied the rules? The systemic structure of our society is designed to domesticate predators. It takes the wolf and turns it into a plow horse. The laziness you feel is the wolf refusing to pull the plow. We must look deeper into the chemical chains that bind you. Dopamine, the currency of desire. In the modern era, your dopamine receptors have been hijacked. They have been fried by cheap, accessible spikes, social media, sugar, pornography, outrage news. This is not an accident. It is a pacification strategy. A population of ambitious, focused, and energetic individuals is a threat to the established order. They build new systems, they topple old gods, they question the narrative. But a population that is ambitious, yet paralyzed, that is profitable. That is a workforce that dreams of escape, but lacks the energy to pick the lock. They sell you the poison, and then they sell you the cure. They bombard your nervous system with overstimulation until you burn out, and then they sell you the therapy and the medication to get you back to the desk. Here at Symbolism Decoded, we look for the patterns in the noise. We see the invisible ink on the contract you signed with society. And this specific pattern, the paralysis of the intelligent, is one of the most pervasive symbols of our time. It is the symbol of a caged spirit. Let's discuss the perfectionist trap. This is the sibling of laziness. You don't start because you are afraid it won't be perfect. But where did this standard of perfection come from? It is a Machiavellian construct. By setting the standard of success at an impossible, godlike level, the system ensures you always feel inadequate. Shame is the most powerful fuel for the laborer. If you feel you aren't doing enough, you will work yourself to the bone to prove your worth. But your biology is smarter than your sociology. Your body knows that perfection is death. Perfection is stasis. Life is messy. Life is chaotic. When you demand perfection from yourself, your brain interprets the task as a threat to your survival. It predicts failure, and to avoid the pain of that failure, it prevents you from starting. It creates a wall of fatigue. You sit down to work, and suddenly you are exhausted. You need a nap. You need a snack. You need to check your phone. This is not physical fatigue. It is a psychosomatic barrier erected to protect your ego from the inevitable shame of not being a god. Who benefits from your guilt? When you lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, hating yourself for wasting the day, who wins? The system wins, because a guilty man is an obedient man. A guilty man tries harder the next day to please his masters. A guilty man buys self-improvement courses. A guilty man is easily manipulated. If you were truly lazy, you wouldn't care. True laziness is blissful. The sloth does not hate itself. The fact that you are tormented by your inactivity proves you are not lazy. It proves you are a high-performance engine that has been filled with sand. So how do we decode this? How do we break the paralysis? Standard advice tells you to push through, to use willpower. This is a trap. Willpower is a finite resource. If you use willpower to fight your own subconscious, you will lose. You are fighting a war against yourself, and one of you will die. The solution requires a shift in paradigm. You must stop trying to force the wolf to pull the plow. You must unhook the plow. You must realize that your laziness is actually a guidance system. It is pointing away from the things that drain you and toward the things that feed you. The things you are procrastinating on are likely the things that do not align with your true will. In the esoteric traditions, there is a concept of true will. It is the singular purpose of an individual. When you act in accordance with your true will, the universe assists you. Energy is limitless. You do not need motivation to breathe. You do not need discipline to eat when you are starving. When you are doing what you are designed to do, the concept of laziness evaporates. The system has tricked you into believing that hard work is virtuous, regardless of the goal. This is a lie. Digging a hole and filling it back up is hard work. It is also madness. Much of the corporate ladder is simply digging holes and filling them back up. Your soul knows this, and it refuses to pick up the shovel. You must renegotiate the contract with your own mind. You must stop using shame as a whip. You cannot shame yourself into greatness. You can only shame yourself into compliance. You need to detox not just from dopamine, but from the expectations of others. You need to enter a period of strategic non-compliance. Accept the paralysis. Stop fighting it. Lean into it. Sit in the silence. If you stop distracting yourself from the pain of doing nothing, you will eventually hear the voice you have been drowning out. The voice that tells you what you actually want to build, not what you should build, what you must build. The transition from a useful tool of society to a sovereign creator is painful. It requires a death of the old self, the self that seeks validation, the self that wants a gold star. You are feeling lazy because you are in the chrysalis. The caterpillar does not run around when it is turning into a butterfly. It dissolves. It creates a hard shell and stops moving. To the outside observer, it looks dead. It looks lazy. But inside, a total reconstruction is happening. Do not let the world rush your reconstruction. Do not let the chatter of the mediocre pull you out of your cocoon before you have wings. The dark truth is that they want you to stay a caterpillar. Caterpillars eat leaves and stay on the ground. They are easy to manage. Butterflies are chaotic. They fly. They are hard to catch. Your ambition is your wings trying to grow. Your laziness is the shell protecting that growth. Stop looking for a hack. Stop looking for a pill. Look at the horror of your potential wasted and let that fear outweigh the fear of failure. The system relies on your slumber. It relies on you being just comfortable enough to stay put and just anxious enough to keep working. It is a delicate balance. Break the balance. Reject the guilt. Reject the shame. Listen to the silence. If you are seeing the code, if you are feeling the glitches, you are halfway out of the matrix. But walking out requires a first step that no one can take for you. You have to decide if you are going to be a well-oiled machine for someone else's empire or the architect of your own. The feeling of laziness is the quiet before the storm. It is the pullback of the arrow on the bowstring. The further back you are pulled, the more tension you feel, the more paralyzed you seem. But when you finally let go, when you finally align your target with your soul, you will not move, you will fly. Stay hidden, stay observant, and most importantly, stay awake. Subscribe.